Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. This is the show where we talk about sports with comedians. So let's get ready to bring in the comics because obviously we're going to get this show get ready underway. First comedian up, my man Maurice Smith. Mo, how you doing, bro? How's everything?
I'm doing all right. And you, how you doing, Frank?
All right, all right. My man Howie Bell is in the building. Howie, how you doing, sir?
Oh man, it's a beautiful day, my brothers. What's happening?
What's going on?
Let's go.
Filmmaker Jason Hayes is also in the building. Like Jay, what's up, bro? How you doing, sir?
What's going on, fellas? Everything is great.
Everything's good. And my man producer, extraordinaire in the background. Kev Lane is in the building too. Kev, how you doing, sir?
What's happening, fellas?
All right, so let's get ready to get this show started. I'm kind of anxious to get this started because I want to be able to pump these things out and get them through with the people who we got. So let me make sure I get the cameras right. And I'm gonna go first because obviously, I being my show, I go first. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do, man, if we're gonna do the biggest hoaxes in sports. If you guys know what that means if you don't know what it means basically somebody who did something under false pretense and they pushed it along as the narrative. In sports, that means somebody who's pretending to be something they weren't. For me, number 5 is kind of hilarious because for me, I'm sitting at home watching, some television, and number 5 comes in. It's pretty easy. My man Tony Roberts is out there shooting around with the Sacramento Kings, and then he got caught. Then he got pulled on off the side. It was hysterical to me because nobody paid attention. He put on the warm up thing and everything else. He snuck it in, and he was shooting around the Sacramento Kings, so he got busted. That's Tony 5. That's number 5. Number 4 for me is Danny Alamonte was pitching in the Little League World Series for the Bronx. He was supposed to be 12 at the max age. He was 14 years old. He got busted, and they said, you know what, son, you got to come up out of there. You're 14 years old. They couldn't believe he was this big and this dominant. Well, he had 2 years more than everybody else. Number 3 for me is another comedian, Simon Brodkin. He went under the name Jason Bent. He pulled it off because he went under the Man City, which is a soccer, and against Everton in 2013, and he was out there during warm-ups, and he was being an imposter while they were doing warm-ups on the soccer team, which to me, again, another comedian coming in the limelight, which made it hysterical for me. Number 2, I said this last week on something else. Rosie Perez, she acted like she did was running the marathon. She started out the marathon. She did 2 miles, and then she jumped in. Maybe she did 3 or 4 miles. She jumped in a car and got all the way up to the Boston Marathon way back in 1980 and got out a half mile before. And so, came in and she had no sweat on her legs, nothing. She just like, I don't know how I did that. It was so phenomenal. That's how I did it. So pretty funny the way she did that. And number 1 for me, which all y'all gonna remember this. Y'all remember Manti Te'o, the one he was pretending to be one thing. He was pretending to have a girlfriend. His grandma had just died and everything. So Manti Te'o, that's my number 1 biggest hoax for me. Like you can't top that, man. He was getting sympathy letters and on ESPN running all that. My man Rodney Perry joined the building. Rodney Perry, how you doing, sir?
What's up, gentlemen?
All right, so I'm going to start with Mo. I'm going to start with Mo. You go first, and we're gonna go down the list, Mo. You give me your top biggest hoaxes in sports. It ain't got to be 5, but just give me some of your biggest hoaxes in sports.
You just took all the good ones. I mean, you ain't got nothing to say.
All right, that's what happens.
I'm waiting for the biggest crybabies or something like that. Maybe you won't get 1 or 2 of those. I'm getting a little tired of you going first, Frank. Anyway,
I won't go first next round. Go ahead, man.
All right, you got Monte Te'o, you got Danny, even though you said Danny was 2, I think the boy was 24. I remember that. He was from the Bronx. He was selling, look, the only reason why they caught him, because he was across the street from Yankee Stadium selling kilos. If you've ever been to Yankee Stadium, you know that's the worst neighborhood in the world. But it was a dude named Fred Lawrence in 1904. He did the same thing that Rosie Perez did. For the 11 miles in the Olympics, he took a cab. And convinced, and he took a picture with the first daughter and everything, and he got banned for life when they caught him. For real. There's another dude named Richard Poole. Richard Poole was 30,000 years old, and he convinced the San Diego Padres to put him in the game. He played 1 game, tell me he was only 22 against the Cincinnati Reds. And my number 1 all time is when the Knicks did an April Fool's joke and told everybody that Clyde was coming back at the age of 52. And he said he was going to play 15 minutes in the NBA.
I like that. Howie Bell, you up next with your 5. Give me your 5, bro.
Oh man, y'all got some good ones, man. You took one of mine. I actually had the little league liar is what I called him, Danny Amante. That was an amazing story. 2001. Just to add to what you said, Frank, he was pitching at 76 miles an hour.
Yeah.
In little league baseball. So he was a huge hoax. He never really made. He played some professional sports. He never really, got off to anything better. Never went to Major League Baseball after that. But that was one of mine.
Well, what was his name? Who would you have?
His name was Danny Amante. He said he was 12 years old and he was
really
actually 14. That was one of Frank's. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the biggest hoaxes in sports was, I don't know if y'all remember, they had these bracelets that athletes used to wear, and it was called hologram bracelets, and they claimed
Damn.
Wi-Fi.
Howie, you're messing up, bro. I don't know what's going on with your internet.
You know what? He forgot to take the trash out. So they pulled the plug on the Wi-Fi.
All right, Rodney Perry, you go up next, man. I'll wait till Howie Bell come back in. Go ahead, Rodney.
All right. I'm gonna start here. Sid Finch. Do y'all know who Sid Finch is?
Yeah.
So Sid Finch, it was a
taking on mine.
April Fool article, and they built him as this great pitcher. They think it throw 106 miles per hour. The Mets fans was excited, and the whole thing was a lie. And I put this on there, man. I don't know if this counts in sports, but Lance Armstrong, of course, we know about him doing a lot of stuff in sports, but he fooled a lot of women with his balls. Lance Armstrong had many women thinking many years that he had 2 balls, but he only had 1. One ball bandit is what they call him. And another person I think a lot of people gonna leave out is the great Bruce Jenner, decathlete. He had us fooled for 66 years that he was a man. He was actually a woman the whole time, and we can prove it by him winning Woman of the Year. He came out as a woman. Well done, Bruce Jenner. I mean, Caitlyn Jenner. Finally, I was a manager over at Magic City for a period of time, and there's one girl, and her name was Sandy, and everybody thought she was light skinned, but she was actually a white girl for many years. And once they found out she was white, they cut her tips in half, man. But while she was on top, she was on top.
Yeah, she was on top. She was. Howie, give me your finish. You were at the bracelets part. Go ahead, bro.
All right, man. Can you hear me good? I paid my bills, brother. I paid my bills. I'm good. So I was at the bracelets part with this technology and everything. They had fooled the sports world and all these athletes into believing that they could actually perform better or like some kind of enhancement. But then it went on further than that. Even though it wasn't no medical, proof behind all this, they create another company. There was a company named Fighting. They created these necklaces that actually claimed to do like the same thing with this aqua titanium technology. And everybody started wearing all this stuff. It was through college, high school, pros. At one time, this was early 2000s. At one time in 2010, they made $35 million off of this. Their website claimed to do nothing scientific. They claimed to have no type of real health benefits or none of that, but it was one of the biggest hoaxes in sport. I don't know if everybody was wearing them. And then they just claimed that people kept wearing them because they were fashionable at one point. Terrible.
Yeah, that's absolutely terrible.
Terrible. I heard Rodney Perry mention Sid Finch. That was funny. It was an April Fool's joke as well. I had that down, man. He was a fake pitcher, claimed to pitch for 168 miles an hour. Everybody was scared. I had that one down, man. Rodney Perry, that was good. Let me tell you this, man. One of the biggest hoaxes to me in sports is wrestling. Professional wrestling, they have convinced millions of people for generations that this is an actual sport. This is nothing more than a soap opera. And I can't believe that people have bought into the fact that these are real competitive sports events, and they're simply not. I'm not saying those guys aren't athletes, because they are, but that is not a sport. And to me, wrestling is the biggest hoax in sports right now.
That's your list, bro? That's your list?
That's my list.
All right, let's see. Filmmaker Jason Hayes in the building. Jay, tell me your list, bro.
All right, so of course, I had to have Danny Almonte on there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a person, who played Little League and played the next level after that, the mound extends like by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So year-old, throwing on the mound, for like, I mean, like seeing that grown man out there mowing down them for real 11, 12-year-olds, that was crazy. I mean, dude. A hoax that stands out to me was Tanya Harding, with them staging, making it act like some deranged fan just chose Nancy Kerrigan's kneecaps. You know what I'm saying? Just randomly. And they had the news running with it. You know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden you find out. And now the second hoax is, she ain't know anything about any of this. It was her deranged husband that cooked this up, and she knew nothing about it. So you got to go with that one. Now one that's really close to me happened recently. It is Imani Khalif. Imani Khalif is the Algerian female boxer that the MAGA world accused of being trans when she was born a woman, and everybody ran with it. And to this day, she's still fearing for her life, from homophobes, who believe that she's a man that beat up on women instead of a legit woman that knocked the hell out of women.
Oh, no, because the beef was that she was kind of ugly.
Well, that's what ugly really don't work for you, bro. I mean, like, man, she's so whatever, she got to be a dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another one for me is Balco. Not because Balco wasn't really, it wasn't a hoax per se. It's the takeaway from the reporters. That's the hoax. Because reporters got you believing that if you use PEDs, you can hit a baseball 500 feet.
Yeah.
If that was true, right? Every Gold's Gym would be empty right now, and they all making $500 million a year. You know what I'm saying? Weights don't help you hit baseballs. So get off of that.
If you can already hit a baseball, it can.
It keeps you available, brother. That's it. That's all it does.
Yes,
it ain't making that bat touch that ball.
That's right.
That's all I got for you. Everything else is covered.
And lastly, my man Kev, give me your biggest hoax in sports.
Wow, I three of them I don't even want to say because it'd just be repeating what everybody else done said about it. The Almonte kid, Sid Finch, I had that one, and the Manti Te'o. Yeah, I had those. But nobody mentioned the 2000 Spain team from the Paralympics when they all
nice, Kev.
They were all healthy, well-minded people, and they claimed to be paraplegic.
Wow.
Did they win?
Out there with all their functions, bullying handicapped people.
Crazy. That was crazy. And nobody mentioned when they fooled this pitcher, well, this guy that played on the, I think he was on the Dodgers, Jeff Francoeur. This was this player that they would claiming he was deaf. And he played his name was George Reyes. He played on the team, but he could really hear. But this dude, Jeff Francoeur, thought he was for real deaf and was like, great job, yo, you did. It was a mess. That was a big hoax. That was a mess.
That's terrible.
That is terrible. Okay, that's your five. Now
hold it. This just in. This is crazy.
Bulletin.
Breaking news,
man. This is crazy. First of all, I want to shout out all my colleagues on here today: Jay, Kev, Frank Holder, Howie Bell, Mo, all of us, man. Just in, you're all winners. You're all absolute winners, man. And you said, Rodney Perry, what do we win? Well, according to this, you all won the microscopic race. That's right. When you came shooting at your daddy toward that egg, you won the race. It was you and 1,000 million seamen behind you, and you fought them off. You kept them going. And a special shout out to Mo, who's the one of us that special needs. Mo won the race as well, but he might have been running in circles.
That's enough time for Rodney Perry. That's enough.
Oh, God.
Let's jump into the craziest. Let's jump into the next one. Oh my God. The craziest beef in sports. The craziest beefs in sports. This one was pretty interesting when myself, Jay, and Kev came up with this when we were talking about this. So I'm gonna give you all. You ain't got to have 5, but I got 5. So for me, number 5 is Brett Favre. That dude was always complaining on the field. You should drive me nuts running down there. And then the crazy part is he was getting a lot of the calls.
Is that beefs or crybabies?
Crybabies. I meant to say crybabies. I hit the wrong one. There you go. Thank you. Biggest crybabies in sports. Thank you, Rodney Perry. Appreciate that.
I ain't ready for that. I got beefs up on my screen.
Not yet. We coming to beef. Number 4 for me was Terrell Owens. We all know why Terrell Owens is like. I don't think anybody would say T.O. was not a crybaby and cried a lot in sport. Number 3, I don't know if any of y'all gonna have this, but Roger Federer was a huge crybaby, throwing rackets. Just cry. Listen, he was a champion, but he cried a whole lot. Number 2 for me is Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp act like he was doing his thing all the time, but he was one of the biggest crybabies to the refs. But the number 1 biggest crybaby to me in sports is my GOAT of all time, Michael Jordan. He cried and he got his way all the time. Like, I don't care what nobody says. Jordan, even though he's my favorite, like Jordan's the GOAT, but he cried all the time. So I give it to him. Mo, give me your biggest crybabies in sports.
All right, number 5. I mean, just the other day, Chad Ochocinco was on with Shannon Sharp crying. He was crying not too long ago. So if you don't mention that, you wasn't watching. So Chad Ochocinco, you in there, baby. Of course, I got Terrell. Oh, it's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Tim Tebow, man. Tim Tebow made a whole career of crying about, can I be good enough to make it? Will I ever be good enough to make it? Call Anthony Towns. This dude, every time he drives the lane, he cries. He cries. He swears he's been fouled. And my number 1 crier of all the time, all sports of all time, whether it be TV sports or broadcasting, Frank Holder talking about he needs to go first because he's scared one of us is going to get something he got. He says that damn thing every day. We know it's your show. You're the only one with a coffee cup.
Hilarious. There's gonna be some technical difficulties, and Mo's gonna get kicked out the show. He's gonna be kicked out the show. Oh, look! There you go. He gone. Howie Bell, give me your Howie.
All right, man. I'm gonna run through it real quick, man. I'm gonna start with LeBron James, bro.
Wow.
You know, guy, yeah, bro. I mean, LeBron is. I've never seen a dude cry about so many calls. He was worse at it early in his career. He's gotten a lot better at it, but he was the most complainingest, cryingest, great player that I ever seen in my life. LeBron James will start right there. I don't know if y'all remember the quarterback for the Chargers named Phillip Rivers. But he used to complain and cry about every call. Like, dude, come on, man, play football, bro. He was so irritating. Odell Beckham Jr.
Damn.
One of the worst crybabies. Great athlete, great talent, just complained, teared, and cried and complained all the time. Terrible. I had Michael Jordan down there, but let me tell you this, though. Not because Jordan cried about complaints, it's because the crying Jordan meme is so popular right now. that meme has said, I mean, you can see that meme on a horse, and it's hysterical. So the crying Jordan meme
it slap every time you see it.
Every time you see it, it slap. Yeah, hey, look, man, I'm gonna take my man. If he put the crying Jordan meme on Frank Holder's face, he could have a hell of a.
Wow.
Let's call it. I gave you a tag real quick. All right, my last one. Last one is, I don't know if y'all remember, this dude used to shed real tears, bro, all the time. He had the biggest lips, the worst hair, the rings in his lips, his ear. Dennis Rodman. If you remember how much Dennis Rodman used to cry, it was almost pathetic. He looked almost retarded, like he was on the spectrum. I don't know if you go back and look at some of them interviews, watch Dennis Rodman, worst crybaby ever in sports, Dennis Rodman.
I like your list. Rodney Perry, give me your list. See if you can top that.
I'm not trying to top nothing. I do have Michael Jordan on my list, and it was definitely for the crying meme. But he also cried when he won his championship. Michael Jordan cried real tears when he won the championship. He held the trophy. You know, I look for people that actually cry. Serena Williams cried 2018 at the 2018 U.S. Open when arguing with an umpire. And they say she was complaining, but she actually cried real tears while arguing with the umpire today. LeBron James cried openly. He actually wept. 2016, it was a year to cry. NBA championship of falling to the ground in celebration. That's when he finally got the thing for
the championship.
Cleveland.
The championship. Mm-hmm. And then I looked at some other people that we know, notable criers. Let's not leave off the great Kanye West. His mama had just died, and he was crying all over the place. Matter of fact, whenever me and my wife get into it, do our thing. If I ever get early, I use the Kanye West meme. Anyway. Tyrese is known as the crier too, and also Will Smith, who did not cry when he slapped the taste out of Chris Rock's mouth.
You know what your list, Rodney? You done?
That's it.
Yeah. My filmmaker Jason Hayes in the building. Give me your list, bro.
Rodney's crazy.
Yeah. Let me start with an obvious one. Tom Brady. Tom Brady cried so much to that they made it illegal to tackle quarterbacks now.
Wow.
You can't even tackle a quarterback without drawing a 15-yard penalty right now. That all started with Brady crying about his knees and whatnot.
That wasn't
Bradshaw had knees.
That didn't come from the guy that got his knee ripped off.
That's true.
Joe Theismann.
No, it didn't come with Joe Theismann. It didn't come with Joe. It came with Tom Brady after 2007.
Tom Brady.
Yep, 2008 season they instituted that. Yeah, keep going.
Crying all the time. Number 4 for me, Chicago Bulls fans. Not because they cried, but because when you talk about the 1990s over and over and over, it sounds like crying to me because you got nothing to talk about.
Wow, that hurt.
Wow.
You got 6 championships. Forget that.
Yeah,
in the 90s.
In the 90s. Like,
John McEnroe.
Yep.
He made a career out of crying. You can't be serious. He cried so much they put him in commercials about crying, saying the same thing, right? That's next level.
They did.
Another one, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods used to be cussing people out for taking pictures on the golf course when he putting. God damn it, are you serious? You know, he walk away, you know, take his hat off and show them cow licks. And then he put his hat back on. And then look at him all nasty and then go reset for his putt. And the number 1 spot for me, Kobe Bryant, like his inspiration, Michael Jordan, cried all the time to the referees. I mean, it became such a part of what he did in terms of crying. He was crying to the police about Shaq.
Wow.
He was telling Shaq business through his crying. And listen, he cried so much to that he had to like barely beat the case of raping a chick that nobody would ever be charged with raping because she had like 1,700 DNAs in her drawers. That's the only way he beat the case because he cried into a conviction. The drawers saved him.
Did he have tears in her drawers?
He might have. She had 1,700 DNA samples in there, bro.
Yeah, and that's true. She had a lot.
Yeah, I remember that.
Jay, you done? You done with your list?
I'm done. That's it. Number one
All
spot.
There it is. Kevin Lane, give me yours.
Jay is dangerous. Woo, Lord.
Fantastic.
All right. I'm gonna go with someone that you guys didn't mention because everybody's saying a couple of the same ones. But I'm gonna go with Adam Morrison when he was at Gonzaga. After the game that they blew it, he got on the floor and rolled around and was crying like a. And I think he had a thumb in his mouth. He was rolling around.
You can't say that.
That was crazy. Glenn Big Baby Davis.
Wow.
Kevin Garnett made him cry. He said something to him, and he got shook up, cried for real on the court. Crazy. Des Bryant. That dude. If you didn't throw the ball to him, he felt like he deserved every one.
He was open.
Yeah, he's always open. Yeah.
Odell Beckham. Somebody mentioned him earlier. He forever crying because he'd be on the. Remember when he went over on the sideline and he kicked the football into the net and it got all because he was crying. He was. And lastly, but not least, everybody's favorite, LeBron. I think he's.
I knew you had LeBron on your list.
Kev had LeBron on his list? No way.
Really shocking. Kev had LeBron.
Just saying.
It's breaking news. Rodney Perry, you got breaking news?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
Man, did he close the buffet?
I thought Rodney Perry had breaking news. I said,
hilarious.
My paper when I do my breaking news.
That made my stomach hurt. That's funny.
Oh, okay, just making sure you didn't have no breaking news there, right? Because I thought you had breaking news. Sorry. All right, let's go on to the craziest beef.
It's still coming though. Stay tuned.
Okay, we're gonna stay there. Craziest beef in sports for me in no particular order, and I'm going first. I don't give a damn what Mo says.
Hey, Frank, do two.
Okay, two. Why I gotta do two? I can't do five.
Because you got too many.
Can I just do this? This is my show. Can I do this?
I do.
I ain't gonna do a lot.
I'm
gonna do five, but I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna let you all. I'm gonna let you all do
take
your
all
thing.
the good ones. You take all the good ones, dude.
No, he's right. Do his. Don't nobody repeat. Just don't repeat none.
No,
right.
I will do mine last. I will let Mo go first. There you go, Mo. You got it. Go ahead, Mo. Get you crazy beef in sports.
Damn. All right. Crazy beef in sports. All right. I got one that just happened like 3 minutes ago. Me and Rodney Perry. You know what I'm saying? calling me a disformed spur. Look at here, you emotional cripple. You better leave me alone. You better leave me alone. All right. The next one.
That was off the wire though. My bad.
Is that breaking news?
That was breaking news.
I got the breaking news band already. Go ahead, Mo. Keep going.
All right, the next one, Ray Allen and the whole Celtics nation. When Ray Allen left Boston and went to Miami, Frank can tell you that I put this up here just for Frank. They still hate Ray Allen up here. Ray Allen come up here, I swear to God, they're gonna pee in his chowder. Ray Allen still can't come to Boston. They feel like if he would have stayed in Boston, they would have won another championship. But he defected to Miami.
It was done.
Very true. Very true. Keep going.
Yeah. Chris Webber and Jalen Rose. Chris Webber and I wish they'd get together and kiss and make up. All right. My last one, I had Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding, and I got Kobe and Shaq. I know y'all are gonna have that. But my last one, the biggest one that happened this year, Jay-Z and all the white folks who didn't understand why he put Kendrick Lamar up there to do the halftime show of the Super Bowl. White folks is gonna be mad with Jay-Z for a long time for that one.
That's a
Wow.
good
Still,
one.
man.
Oh, that's a good. They still mad.
He had about 6 white fans anyway. He was okay.
Rodney Perry, was that breaking news?
That was not breaking news.
How you know? Go ahead, bro. Give me a crazy thing.
Craziest beefs in sports, man. You know, I got to start it off with the Detroit Pistons versus the Boston Celtics, man. That was a wild beef in the 80s, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've talked about fighting and all that kind of stuff and, you know, players that were dirty and things like that. But that beef in general, man, between them two teams, it was always blood. And it was to the end, man. It lasted for a lot of years. And the Pistons had to get over that hump to get to the Lakers and eventually get over that hump before they got their championship. Sticking with the kind of era, Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan. That was crazy. I mean, that was just the craziest thing in the world. Michael Jordan literally went to David Stern and complained, and that's how they came up with all the rules with the flagrants and all that stuff. All that stuff was brand new back then because the Pistons came up with the Jordan rules. They were like, every time he comes to the hole, we follow him. And so he went to the commissioner and got them to change that. And on top of that, blocked Isaiah Thomas from being on the Dream Team, Olympic Dream Team. That was gay. All right, so that was
Isaiah's coach was the coach of the team.
Yeah, man, that was horrible, bro. Listen, that was the only thing that came through. It was Chuck Daly was the coach. That was the only thing we got out of that. You know, but none of our players. All right. Draymond Green versus every damn body. I mean, I'm telling you, man, if Draymond Green to have that stuff on the streets, somebody would shoot him. Mm-hmm. It's no way that he could just beat and do all this stuff that egregious when he's, you know, on the court. This is one that I knew about when I was younger, but I kind of looked into it. Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That was huge back then because, of course, they were tall guys, great athletes. Wilt kind of, you know, groomed them when he was Lou Alcindor and all that. But then Lou Alcindor changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We got into the Black Power movement, and he kind of veered away from Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was a Republican, hung out with Nixon and all that. And, you know, they just, their relationship got worse and worse as years went on. Wow. The reporters weren't even interested in the games that they played against each other. It was all about the beef. And that was a huge beef for a long time. Basically, Kareem called him a coon. You know, that's really what it came down to.
I didn't know. I never heard that. Well done.
Never heard that one either.
Yeah, that was huge, man. And I didn't know it was that deep either. Michigan versus Ohio State. Got to be one of the biggest beefs in sports, not just college sports. Through some of the great coaches like Bo Schembechler, of course, Jim Harbaugh, and of course on the Ohio side, Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer. That particular rivalry in sports, no matter what happens, that game is going to be an incredible game and highly watched. Ohio State won the national championship last year, and Michigan still beat them. So that's the kind of rivalry that they have. And that's it. That's what I got.
All right, Rodney Perry.
Howie, you be stealing mine, Howie. Damn.
You think Howie, so wait till I do this list. You ain't gonna be none left. Okay. All right. We kind of said this in other times. I'm not gonna even do that one. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Mm-hmm. They was beefing the whole time they was in OKC, and you know, I don't know if Russell ever really respected KD. He was mad when KD left. You know, they felt some type of way because KD went and played with Golden State. But in the words of KD, F them dudes. All right.
That sounds like breaking news. Did I hear just something go bang? Was that?
That was not breaking news. Richard Sherman and Michael Crabtree. Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
They had a big beef 2013 NFC Championship with Viral and solidified their beef. You know, Richard Sherman was very vocal, like this dude can't hold me, da. I mean, he can't do nothing on me, and he stayed pat on that. Also, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Muhammad Ali took Joe Frazier many times, called him the ugly so-and-so, and he's gonna move his butt, and then did it.
Hurt Joe Frazier's feelings.
He did hurt his feelings. Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Mm-hmm.
Serena dominated her on the court for years, but Maria never did get over that. And a couple of special beasts. Let me get down to here. My Kim Kardashian and Ray J.
That's a special.
I think Ray won that beat.
Yeah, and the sport was
and for those of you who are enthusiasts and are old school, Pinky versus Vanessa Blue.
Way back. Way back.
How'd that turn out, Rod? I heard a little something about that.
I mean, it was really controversial, man. Where they found their way. I believe they're actually friends now, and they are in the fitness industry.
Fitness.
Oh, wow.
That was breaking news right there. See, told you.
And also, finally, Mr. Marcus versus the industry. Toward the end of his career, they were saying that he had STD, and that was the reason he quit the industry. But it really wasn't that. Turns out he just had the clap, and it was the people applauding.
All right, there it is. That's it. That's his list. Filmmakers.
Oh man,
give me your list, bro.
Oh wow, yeah. Okay. The first one I'll say Mike Tyson and Mitch Blood Green.
Oh, Mitch Green.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was a weird beef. Like they hate each other so much. They was like actually fighting in the streets of Harlem, like in front of Dapper Dan's.
Whose card did they mess up? He threw him on the cards.
No, Mike got in his car, was driving off, and Mitch ripped the mirror off, according to Mike. That's what Mike said happened, right? Oscar De La Hoya and his battle with the truth about what it means to wear women's undergarments.
Wow. Nice. The battle with the truth is hilarious.
He's battling what that means, bro. Because I heard him say everything but what he needed to say to properly acknowledge that. Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's
the
a good one.
weirdest beef is that they both had career years with each other.
Yeah.
And they hate each other right now. That's a crazy beef to me. Of course, Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And I got LeBron James against the light-skinned Canadian.
Yeah.
Not Drake. Dylan Brooks.
Nice. But that was kind of one-sided because LeBron didn't care about that dude.
That's why it's a crazy beef. You know what I'm saying, Rod? It's crazy.
Yeah, agree.
Because Dylan coming at the brother and LeBron just like, I'm just out here breaking records and you just out here, doing what light-skinned Canadian dudes do. File lawsuits and stuff.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? And of course, Shaq and Kobe and James Harden and Daryl Morey.
Ooh, I like that list. Yeah. Kev Lane, give me your list.
Okay. I'm glad nobody said this one. Derek Fisher and Matt Barnes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a crazy one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
His wife was involved.
Wow. And he drove all the way down in a Pamper.
Yep.
Matt Barnes' wife. But you know the story about how he left his wife, how Derek Fisher left his wife? He packed all this stuff in the middle of the night and just left one day. He paying like $400,000 a month still.
Go ahead, Kev.
That monkey incredible.
Someone said Draymond and everybody. How he be stealing, but I'm gonna go the other route and say Pat Beverly and everybody.
Nice.
Everybody. Yep.
Pat Beverly is no joke. he just mad for no reason. I'm gonna say Shaq and Dwight Howard.
Ooh,
yeah.
Superman beef.
Superman
too.
Superman beef there. And I'm gonna go with Draymond against Kevin Durant instead of everybody else. Draymond and Kevin Durant.
I like that.
Enough said. There you go.
Okay. Now can I get my list? Since I went last, can I get my list now?
Go ahead. The great.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, stop right there. It's time For the real man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Frank Holder.
It's breaking news. It's breaking news. Frank went last. Breaking news. Breaking news.
I went last. Just make sure you know I went last. All right, now here's my list. Bill Belichick versus Tom Brady. And we all saw what happened with that. Tom Brady ended up getting mad and went and decided to win another Super Bowl somewhere else. That's number one.
And
Number
Bill
two,
got fired.
Yeah. Bill Belichick against Robert Kraft. And ultimately, Belichick lost that, and now he's coaching North Carolina. So, there's that. That's
but did he lose, though? You know what I'm saying?
He lost because he's coaching North Carolina.
But he's on the college campus, though. Did he lose?
Well, yeah, I guess you're right if you're 77. So you're right about that. You're right about that. You're right.
Jay. Oh.
And let me finish. Damn, you made me lose my train of thought. Billy Martin versus George Steinbrenner. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Out there, if you all saw that, you already know how that got down with Get Down. And the Knicks owner versus Charles Oakley. I didn't know James Dolan.
James Dolan,
Knicks owner versus Charles Oakley, and he's still mad about that. And Spike Lee versus James Dolan. And that's my 5. So if I had gone first, see, there you go. That's what happened.
So is that Charles Oakley won when he had to fight in the garden?
Say that again.
Is that when he had to fight in the garden?
Yep, he had to fight in the garden, got kicked out, wasn't allowed to come back in the garden, everything else, had to get special permission to come back to the garden, and ultimately he ended up getting it, but now he really doesn't even want to go back to the garden. So, Charles Oakley's still mad at James Dolan. He probably won't go back to the garden until, the change his ownership. All right, so the next one.
All right, Frank, before we move on, you just got some breaking news in here. It's crazy. Before we move on, some breaking news just coming off the wire. This is hot too. Woo! It's Oprah Winfrey versus Monique. And they're set to fight this weekend. I really want to say this one, but once they be brought into sports, they actually gonna have a fight this weekend. Oprah and Monique, a battle to the death. And so and also it keep with the beef, the whole beef and everything. Oprah versus the beef industry. She went down to Texas and challenged beef, and Oprah is currently a vegan, while beef is still head and shoulders above the rest.
Beef is still beefing. There it is. Beef is
still beefing. Well said.
Beef is still beefing. Can I go first this time? Y'all want me to go last?
Go ahead,
go first.
Set it off.
All right, set it up. The next one, most embarrassing moments in sports history. To me, these are moments whereas you will always know the player and the play of what happened. For me, number 5, Washington QB Jaden Daniels sets back, throws a Hail Mary. The Hail Mary touchdown pass goes to Noah Brown over Chicago Bears Tyquan Stevenson, who was in the corner while thinking he was celebrating and looking at the crowd and telling the crowd to leave and everything. And that just happened this past season. You know what I mean? So to me, he'll never live that down. Another never live that down moment. That was that. Number 4 for me, Houston Rockets forward Tracy McGrady slam dunks over Sean Bradley. It was embarrassing. He put his bottom half all up in Sean Bradley's face, and that was posted. That's one of the best-selling posters for that year. Number 3, Malice in the Palace. Enough said. You already know how embarrassing that is for the entire NBA. Number 2, Jose Canseco out there in the outfield, leans back for the Rangers, tries to catch a ball goes in the light, can't hit, ball hits him in the head, boop, and goes over his head and it's a home run. Boop. But number 1 for me, and I know some of y'all gonna have this, Saquon Barkley is literally dipping and doing and sidestepping and everything else, and jumps over a dude backwards. The dude he jumped over is Jacksonville Jaguars cornerback Jarian Jones, and poor Jarian Jones. That highlight will be infamous in the history forever. And the NFL highlights for Saquon Barkley. He ain't never living that down. So to me, those are the most embarrassing moments in sports. So, Mo, tell me you had one of those 5.
No, I didn't have none of those 5. You actually did pretty good this time.
Good.
All right, here go one. I got one I think Howie Bell might have. Dan Orlovsky running out the end zone when he was playing for the Detroit Lions. Remember that? He was running with the football and he ran out the end zone, not even knowing. That was.
Remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that.
Mark Sanchez, the butt fumble. Remember the butt fumble?
Yeah.
Jets.
The butt fumble. If that's not embarrassing, the next one is really, really embarrassing. Willie Beeman throwing up before he went into the game.
Wow, that's great.
The only one after that that's gonna be really more embarrassing is LL Cool J fighting Jamie Foxx on set, not knowing that he was really acting. He really got mad at this dude because he was acting too good, and he started to fight. And when he found out that he was only acting, that's an embarrassing moment for LL. I don't care if nobody say it. I don't care if nobody like it. It was embarrassing.
Very embarrassing. Very embarrassing.
Very embarrassing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And the most embarrassing moment in sports that somebody ever had to live with. Remember when ABC Sports used to come on and they start their broadcast and be bang, bang, and they said the thrill of victory.
Yeah.
And remember the guy who was skiing and the agony of defeat.
Right.
Imagine you had to sit there every week and watch ABC Sports, and you was known as the agony of defeat as you came bumbling down the ski ramp and you just went completely out of the
Getting
screen
broke up.
every week. And they made you there. I know he is so glad ABC stopped running that if he's still alive.
Yeah, it might not
That's
be.
fine.
Howie Bell, you give me your 5, bro. Or if you have 5.
Man, you know what? I didn't have Dan Orlovsky on there, but that was damn sure embarrassing. I tell you that much. I can't believe he did that. He's a great sports analyst right now. He's good. He's good, pretty good right now. So I want to say, I did have the butt fumble on there with Mark Sanchez. That was one of the most embarrassing turnovers, and the Patriots actually ran that back for a touchdown. That was crazy.
Yes,
Chris Webber calling the timeout with none left. That is why Jalen Rose don't like him right now to this day. That beef is because of that. I know you mentioned that earlier. That was terrible. I got a tie right here between 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg. They both did first pitches. 50 Cent did it for the Mets. Snoop Dogg did it for the Padres on another occasion. But these had to be two of the worst first pitches that you've ever seen in the history of baseball. I mean, it was like not only embarrassing for hip hop, they embarrassed black people. I mean, God, they couldn't even get the pitches.
It set black people back.
Man, they set us back with those pitches. And I don't have 5, but I got one more. And it was a football game in college, and it was in 1982. It was called The Big Game, and it was Cal versus Stanford. And they were running the ball back, and they started laterally and doing everything. Stanford thought they won the game. The Stanford band had ran onto the field, and Cal ran the ball, eventually latered it over, and the guy ran through the band into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. Amazing. That was embarrassing to not only Stanford players, but the school and the institution, the band, and everybody. Totally embarrassing.
it was very embarrassing. Rodney Perry, give me your list.
All right, let's not forget 2018, J.R. Smith, NBA Finals blunder. He grabbed an offensive rebound and then began to run the timeout. LeBron looked at his mother like,
Yeah, that was terrible.
another embarrassing moment was Shaq's free throws his whole career. Goodness gracious. Another embarrassment. I know that nobody's going to say this one. Bo Jackson's son. You better shut up. I'm Republican. Matter of fact, I'm going to stop that because that's very disrespectful. I apologize. Oh, here's one before I go. The Jordan flu game. Why is that embarrassing? Because Jordan didn't actually have the flu. He had food poisoning from pizza he had ate the night before. Now, he might have got poisoned by the other team, but it wasn't a flu at all. It was food poisoning.
So he had boo-boo. He had boo-boo issues. That's what he was.
He had a lot of dookie on his mind. He needed the CNA to come wipe him up.
Oh my God.
Done? Moving on. Moving on, right?
I'm out of there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my man Jay, give me yours. Give me yours.
Oh man. I got Harold Reynolds getting thrown out from the warning track by Bo Jackson on a frozen rope at home plate. Bro, like Harold Reynolds, one of the fastest dudes ever played, man. You know, he took off from first base and Bo nailed him by like a half a step at home plate. That's embarrassing. Number 4 for me is an Allen Iverson put Antonio Daniels on Bambi legs and roller skates when he crossed him over. He sat down completely in the lane, right? Like, I mean, in an arena full of people. That's terrible.
But Bambi legs, really? Bambi legs?
Bambi legs on roller skates, man. Watch the video. That's the only way to describe it. Usain Bolt setting a world record while looking at you while he passing and celebrating, and you all out. It don't get more embarrassing than that, bro. He eased up, and you still lost by 3 seconds. And the number one most embarrassing thing in the history of sports, when the announcer said, "Now please stand for the singing of the national anthem," Mr. Carl Lewis. Ooh. It don't get more embarrassing than what Carl Lewis did with that national anthem, bro.
Wow. Kev, give me yours.
Wow. Well, I'm happy to say no. Y'all didn't say it in your mind. That's good. That's good. I'm going to start with 1993. Oh, no, Frank, you did say this one. Curse. Jose Canseco having the ball bump off his head for a home run. That was crazy. But these ones, these are the 2 hockey ones. I know nobody said these. Dallas Stars, his name was Patrick Steffen. It was an open net, empty net, and he was down by himself and blew the empty net, turned the puck over. They, a dude named Alan Hemsky from the Edmonton Oilers got the puck, went down, scored, sent it into overtime. Dallas ended up losing that series. Another hockey one was Phoenix Coyotes against the Buffalo Sabres, where the goalie was trying to find the puck and it fell in the back of his pants. And he backed his backside up into the net and scored for his own team.
That's fair.
Deshaun Jackson from the Philadelphia Eagles, when he was about to cross the goal line, they were playing against Dallas, and he threw the ball down before he went into the end zone.
That happened like 3 times last year.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing how much that happens in football. It's amazing,
right? Well, he topped it up. He started it. He started it. He was a mess. And last one for me is Usain Bolt. He won his race. He was walking around. He had his shoes off, and he's walking around the track. And the cameraman that was on a little scooter thing ran him over.
I don't really remember that one. I don't remember that one, but that sounds like a good one. All right, in the thing of time, I'm going to wrap up the show and just say tomorrow we're going to have the most egregious blunders and turnovers tomorrow because we ain't going to be able to get to them today. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's. I got a couple, and I'm hoping y'all ain't got none of these, or so that way I'll go last. I'll go last.
You that confident?
Yeah, no, not that confident.
No. I got a quick teaser for that.
Go ahead.
I got a quick teaser for the most egregious blunders. This kind of tripped me out. This guy's name was LaSul Butler, and he played for the Raptors, Toronto Raptors. He got in the game. He didn't even really get in the game. He was trying to inbound the ball, and he had a 5-second violation, and then they benched him. So this guy got in the game. You talk about a blunder for not even a second. He didn't even get on the court. Turned the ball over, got benched, never played again.
And that's why I wasn't confident.
Hey, I got two before we get out of here, Frank. Okay. We left out Rodman. Rodman made a play, got frustrated with the play, and kicked his foot, kicked the cameraman, and cost him $200,000.
Wow.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah.
For my Boston fans, y'all remember when Paul Pierce was wheeled off to get out of the stadium in 2008, and he really had the shit. And finally, we all left this out. Mike Tyson on the hoverboard. I think I broke my back. I think I broke my back. Totally embarrassing moment.
Hilarious. Howie Bell, tell us everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Man, Howie Bizzell, HOWIEBIZZELL. Always just Howie Bell. Come on and holler at me. And for all my New York people, man, I was talking about it. My once a month show is in the Village, Manhattan, Lower Manhattan, 144 Bleecker Street, Smack Village, man. Don't miss it.
Who's on the next show coming up, Howie?
So I got I have Mugga Phoenix. I don't know if you're on Mugga Phoenix. Great actress.
Legendary.
Yeah, I got Mugga on the show. I got a really good old school Jersey comedian named Sleepy Floyd. And my headliner is Mike Britt. I don't know if you remember Mike Britt, great comedian, Def Jam, TV, all that kind of stuff, man. Great show.
Yeah,
great lineup.
Sleepy Floyd related to JB Smooth?
No, that's the other brothers.
Oh,
that's the other brother. Yeah. Yeah.
Rodney Perry, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
I mean, they can find Rodney Perry live on all social media this weekend. Bowie, Maryland, with the great Joe Claire, and a great lineup of great comedians, and I'll be there this weekend. Excited about that. I'll see y'all in Maryland. Anybody in the Maryland area, holler at your boy.
Comedian Maurice Smith.
Yeah, y'all can catch me all week around locally in Boston. This weekend, I'll be at the Comedy Studio in Cambridge, Massachusetts, doing my thing. All right, check me out at the Comedy Studio.
There it is. And filmmaker Jason Hayes.
At JD Hayes, fan base, Black People Site.
Kev.
Right here, box seats, baby. Human milk.
There it is, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Tomorrow's topic is we're going to talk about the most egregious blunders in sports. Different from turnovers, but blunders. Some of them could be turnovers, but the most egregious ones. We're going to definitely talk about that. We got a couple other hot topics to talk about. We're going to be throwing it all out there at you all. Thank you all for watching. Humor Mill is obviously the name of the channel, and Box Seats is the name of the show. See y'all tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
Oh, this just it. Humor Mill is #1 in the world.
Breaking news.
Yes, sir.